you guys are top 5 players in the league right now?
Oh,
And
wow.
in any way, if you say most valuable, most skilled, like break that down because you know how that conversation goes. Who are your top 5 players in the league
Put me
right
on the
now?
spot. You want me to jump it off? Pause. Okay. Joker, Giannis, and Embiid are definitely playing at supreme levels right now. Like elite levels. All three of those guys are playing great basketball, and it's showing because their team, you know, they're winning games. They're playing well. After that, though, for me, it's hard to like just go just top 5. So, you know, we'll go top 5, 8-ish type of thing. But top players after that, SGA is playing on an elite level. Anthony Edwards is playing on an elite level. Steph Curry is still playing on an elite level. That's 6 guys I've named already. Aside from that, Tatum has been really good. Luca Doncic. Luca might have to jump up a couple spots, to be honest. Luca might have to be a top 5 player. He is a top 5 player. Let me say that. Luca has to be in the top 5. So those guys right there for me are making the biggest impacts on their ball clubs. And I'll probably give some love to De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is playing some really, really good basketball.
So let me throw a fastball and you can lead it off all ball. Like, do any of us not have Joker, Giannis, and Embiid as top 3 right now?
I don't have Giannis.
Okay.
I have Joker. I have Embiid.
LeBron needs to be in there as well.
Not top 5. I'm sorry.
Not top 5, but then in the top 10 to 15 range.
I mean, to be honest, I disagree. We could have that talk probably in a bit. Too many games where he has 16, 17, and once again with him, when it's good teams, he's half-assed. When it's bad, and I said this before the season started, I said, I guarantee you, watch what happens with the Lakers when they beat bad teams and he goes off, everybody's going to go crazy. But when they lose the good teams and he's subpar, and he's giving you 16, 17, 18, it's going to be crickets. So for me, but let me, I'm going Joker, I'm going Embiid, I'm going Luca, because what Luca's doing with them numbers, and let's be realistic, that is not a good team. It's a toss-up with me. I'm gonna give 2 players for my 4th slot. And it's 2 players that I kind of shitted on lightly. SGA and Ant-Man. SGA with that young team. Ant-Man with the record they have, they beating good teams. And like I said, them dudes is looking like they're ready to take that leadership on and get their team to the playoffs. And you know who I'm going to get for my 5th? Jalen Brunson. And let me explain why. He's not. No. I'm being for real. This is not because I'm a diehard Knicks fan. Sometimes we got to give props to guys that deserve it. Like I said, Giannis got Dame Lillard in them over there. Look what Embiid is doing with Harden gone. The Joker is just a Joker. You can't deny him. And I like to just give some new guys a slot. What Brunson is doing in New York, people still don't believe.
Can I tell you what? Can I jump in here real quick and just
yes, go ahead.
Say something about our Knicks just for a second. We ain't got to stay here, but I just took a second to just look at our record, who we've played, what we got going on. Now, again, you got to play who's in front of you. But I'm gonna tell you this: the next 2 weeks to a month is a gauntlet for the New York Knicks. It's going to be a gauntlet for the next 15 games. But for the first 20 games, the 3 best wins we have are against Cleveland, Miami, and we beat Toronto the other night. Toronto was actually one of the better wins for us. But everybody else that we've played, OG, have been subpar to not very good teams. So
all right,
it's hard for me to gauge. Brunson's playing lights out. I'm not taking that from him.
See, but that's my point for you. Let's stick to right now.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if there's any other player that average 25. Brunson is averaging 25. He's a 6-foot point guard. If we want to be realistic, that Knicks roster is not good. Like, let's be realistic.
Not good.
Remember, you know how I feel. I'm happy Barrett has stepped up. I'm happy Randall has the ball out of his hands. But let's be realistic. All them other guys, they go anywhere else. They coming off the bench. I'm saying what Brunson is doing, I gotta put him in there. I'm sorry, because anybody else we put in there, what are they averaging? If they averaging 30 plus, then I give it to you. But Brunson is averaging 25.
Yeah, you're right. There's just I don't know. And is my turn now?
No, hold on. Before you go down, and I'm just saying, let's just say someone, and I'm gonna give it an example. There's no knock on nobody. Let's just say someone would say Kawhi Leonard is better than is top 5 and not Brunson right now. Cool. I'm not gonna argue that. But what if
you should argue that? Continue.
No. But what if Kawhi Leonard is not averaging 25? What if Kawhi Leonard is playing with 3 top 75 players or Hall of Fame players? Brunson ain't playing with none of that. Like, a lot of these guys got second superstars, or they got better coaching, better players. I'm saying what Brunson is doing. I know people will laugh at me, but I'm putting him in that 5th spot. So for me, I'm going Embiid, Joker, Luca. I'm going SGA / Ant-Man. In my 5th, I'm giving it to Jalen Brunson.
That's 6 players, but okay. It's always finding a way to finesse.
Told y'all, look, told y'all every time.
He got 6 guys better than Giannis. That's the crazy part.
That is wild. I mean, I'm going with and by the way, I just want to say these are not my 5 best players in the NBA. That's a totally different conversation. This is just who's playing, how they're performing so far this season through 20 games.
Exactly. Power rankings.
Yeah, power rankings. Exactly. Like MVP ladder. Yeah, and it's hard for me because I don't watch every single team every game. I'll tell you one thing though: the teams that I do watch every game, LA teams, neither of them. I think nobody on the team should be playing at a top 5. I think Anthony Davis, LeBron, and Paul George have all been fantastic. But my 5 are Jokic, who is to me just widening the gap as the best player in the world, like each week. It's just amazing what he can. No, you don't think so? You think Giannis is really come? I think Jokic is so good, man. I still think Giannis's offense is a little disgusting. I'm not gonna lie. It's
you gotta watch it. You gotta watch.
I'm watching all of Dame's minutes. Giannis is on the court. They stagger though, so sometimes I don't get to see all of Giannis. But it's still not Jokic. And it's that jump shot. I mean, I'm still living with that. Every time he takes that 3, I'm living with it. But I still have Giannis.
It's not fluid
at all. I have Giannis in my top 5 though. Jokic, Giannis, Embiid, who's just a king in the regular season, man. The guy is just in the regular season. That dude is amazing.
Yeah.
And then my 2 players here, I'm gonna give a shout out though because he's not gonna make my list. He just missed out, but the Ant-Man, he's been unbelievable this season. And then what's his name as well, Luca. The only reason I'm and Fox as well. The only reason I'm cutting Luca though, even though he's sick, I disagree with AllBall. I don't think they're a bad team anymore. I think we need to honestly. One thing AllBall is on the right side of for this particular season is people legitimately forgot how good Kyrie Irving is as a second option in the NBA. Like when he's locked in and he's like no bullshit off the court stuff, he's a beast, dude. Like he's insane. He can get any shot he wants. Like he can get any shot he wants off. You know, he's gonna have his off nights, and he's actually kind of locking in on defense and just playing the right way. And I've really enjoyed watching Kyrie Irving play this year for the Mavs. And I think that they improved their defense, but Luka's defense, the last couple of games that I've watched, atrocious. Like it's just, I can't even, it's so ridiculous sometimes. So even though he's better than some of the 2 guys I'm about to name, I'm going with SGA because the Thunder are doing great and he's leading the ship. And Fabian's boy, he's also my favorite player in the draft class, but the fact that Indiana is number 1 is all because they spam Tyrese Haliburton, pick and pop, pick and roll all game. And he's been unbelievable countering everything that's been thrown at him in pick and roll. His assist numbers are out of this world. And he's pulling from 30 now. Like he's playing at such a high level to me. I'm going with Haliburton. But Anthony Edwards and Luka, you can take your pick with that.
I'm not mad at Haliburton.
Yeah, I actually like that. Like I said, I like that all of us is up here. Like I said, man, we not being stuck in, we not the old men on the porch. Like I said, man, we can't keep saying KD and nah, man. These young
dudes playing great though.
Even though he's playing
right.
level.
Yes.
Like,
but these young dudes is on their heels, man. And like y'all said, Fox, a lot of these dudes. But go ahead, Fabian. Sorry.
Nah, I mean, you know, Dom stole my damn thunder, you bastard. Haliburton definitely cracked my top 5. The top 3, because I think going back to your point, which how you originally started, Dom, is when you think of the best players and the most valuable players, we start thinking about like, why do you lose value if you're one of the best players? Like, you know, when Karl Malone won in '98 or whatever it was, clearly he wasn't better than Mike. Nobody would take him over Mike, but was he more valuable? How did he gain more value? How did he become more valuable for the Jazz than Jordan did for the Bulls? And I think, even though I think that was a misnomer, because there ain't no way he was more valuable to the Jazz than Michael Jordan, he's now enters the conversation by playing that consistent. And I think Joker is that. He epitomizes that. And then you have Giannis for me. He wasn't in my initially, like last week, I wouldn't have had him in my top 5 because I didn't like the way he played. Or I didn't like the way he was playing. But now he's just consistently that mid-range or that low post range, like that 3 to 10 feet is crazy what Giannis is doing. He's starting to look, and I'm saying this over and over again, he's starting to look like more and more like LaMarcus Aldridge in that area. It's crazy the way he's getting the ball up. It's not as fluid yet, but it looks
that's high praise. Holy shit.
Right, because it went from like 37% to 50%. Like it's crazy what he's doing. And it's not going to be there. I clowned him, Akeem Olajuwon, for joining him in the summertime. But what Giannis is doing offensively, remember, they stink on defense. They just made it to 20th. They're just starting to get better. Without him, they would be maybe a 500 team, maybe below that. I thought adding Dame Lillard would be this mega, and it isn't. Like Dame, they killing everything, but they rely heavily on Giannis, I believe. The same way Denver relies heavily on Joker. And then what Embiid is doing in Philly, the way Nick Nurse, you talk about coaching mattering, the way Nick Nurse got them playing with the new we talk about all the time, dribble handoff, the motion offense. Embiid, instead of being his biggest problem is being in the post and try to kick it out of a double team. He's at the top of the key and just watching the whole court, and it gives him the advantage because now he can see easier. I don't have a double team to deal with. I'm just dumping the ball off or passing it off on a dribble handoff. It's just amazing what he's doing. He's killing. So I think those 3 are going to be obvious for everybody. And then the next 2, I just have that range with just, I mentioned Haliburton at number 5 for me and Luca's number 4. But they're kind of interchangeable with Luca, Haliburton, Tatum, and Booker. Devin Booker does not get talked about enough. And I told you earlier,
missed too many games.
He did, but I'm talking about when he's on the court. They won 7 in a row when he came back. Yeah, Kevin Durant, for as good as he was, he didn't win 7 in a row. They didn't win 7 in a row. Devin Booker's out there.
He's playing without Devin Booker, though. Was it Devin Booker by himself, or was he playing with Kevin Durant?
There's a lot of games that Kevin Durant missed. So when Devin Booker's out there, like I said last year in the summertime, he's their best player. He might be the best combo guard in the league. True combo guard. Maybe next to Haliburton at this point. Haliburton got the edge over him, but he really engineers an offense and is a scorer. But he gets that ball out. He dumps the ball in the right places. He makes Kevin Durant's life easier when he's out there. And he did that in the playoffs when he was hurt. He's just amazing to watch.
I'm extremely impressed on how good Book looks facilitating, like getting everybody else involved, especially even when Kevin Durant's on the floor. Like him getting guys involved and still being able to get to his spots and get his shots when necessary. Oh, we need a bucket at this point in the game. Okay, I could go get a bucket. We don't have to even ever worry about if Devin Booker could go get a shot. But the fact that he gets Eric Gordon in a lot of good spots and he's successful. He's like empowering Josh Okogie. Josh Okogie gets a lot of open looks, and it's like, well, how's he getting open looks? But Book is getting him in spots that, you know what I mean, he could be successful. So I really, really like, I thought that would be Brad Beal's role. Obviously, Brad's hasn't been on the floor, but Book has really just taken that role and ran with it. I like what I'm saying, from him.
I think Booker's improved his passing and playmaking and pick and roll every year since Monty came. Basically, every year he's become like a real star, and he just doesn't get enough credit for it. Yeah. I agree with Flea that I thought Beal would do more of it, but we haven't seen them play together yet still, all of them. But Booker's, I think, the best passer of those 3. Like, Booker has these nice left-handed passes where he throws it across his body, and I'm very impressed. He's been doing it for a couple of years now. As I said, I think Booker's been top 10 for like 3 years. People always push back on that. People really don't like him. I don't know why. There's There's a misconception though about two things about his game though, and for the last 4 years they have not been true. And I say Monty Williams because when he came is when I noticed it. People think Booker still doesn't play any defense. That's not true. He tries pretty hard, and he's very decent in my opinion. Very solid. Not necessarily great, but solid. Not a liability by any means. And then he's a much better passer than people think he is. Straight up. So, yeah, you might be right. But, yeah.
In that top 7 range. He's in that. Like, he's interchangeable at times to look like damn near MVP, flirt with MVP. But Luka's just, like you always say, that I'm biased to the bigger players. Luka, Tatum, they're supposed to. And again, Haliburton needs to be talked about. You know how much of a fan I am of Haliburton. I didn't expect that. This is crazy. I love that he's getting to lead his own team and everything, but he got like, who does he really have as a second option? A second option. There is none. And then the best offense in the league.
Right. It's not Miles Turner.
Right. If you know, Took is really passionate about saying certain teams are not good, like that team isn't great. Like they don't have a great roster, but they're
not as bad as y'all make it out to be, though. I'm just saying.
But if you think about this too, look who they start. They start Haliburton, and then everybody else that they start on that team is slightly above average players in the NBA. Bruce Brown, he's a champion, but I'm talking about him as an individual player.
He's a good player, though.
He's a good player, but
any team would take him.
What I'm saying is he slightly above average? Yes or no?
No, he's more than above average. I'm not.
Okay, hold on. To help Flea out. How far removed are these guys from just being role players?
No, they're all role players.
But he's one of the best role players.
Yeah, he's great.
Mathurin, Brown, Hield, Toppin, Turner.
Right.
I'm not naming guys that are like they go to certain teams and they absolutely have to start. You got to figure out what role they're going to play. All I'm saying is that what Haliburton has on the team presently constructed for that team to lead the NBA in points per game says a lot about Haliburton and him putting a lot of them guys in position. And, of course, the coaching with Carlisle. But it says more about Haliburton than it says about the guys that are on that team that, yeah, like you said, too, you put them anywhere else. And I don't know. Obi couldn't get off the floor. I mean, Obi couldn't stay on the floor as a Knick. Now, you know, Carlisle plays the kid. You know,
but Flea, I like the Haliburton. Like I said, kid is great. I agree with everything y'all saying. I just feel the team is not as bad. Yeah, it's not a good team, but the way people make it seem, Buddy Hield at one point is one of the best 3-point guys as far as we talk percentages and things of that nature. Miles Turner is a big man that can stretch the floor. That's really good. And then you bring in a Bruce Brown, who, let's not act like he's chopped liver. Even coming from Brooklyn, he was super tough. So I'm just saying he has some decent pieces to work with. So there should be no excuse. I don't want to hit. They should be pushing for a playoff spot. A playoff spot. I'm sorry. Yes.
I think we all had them, I think, in the play, and I don't remember where you had them all ball, but I know the three of
playoff.
us.
No. I'm saying right now, the leap that Haliburton took, I didn't see this leap like this. So I'm saying now, if he can keep this up and you're a top 5 player, top 10 player in the league throughout the season, you should be 7th, 8th seed. I'm sorry.
But I don't know if I'll have Tyrese Haliburton as a top 10 player in the league at the end of the season. But you know what's interesting?
If he can keep this up,
yeah, why not?
Because you got to show it in the playoffs. He hasn't played a second of postseason basketball. These other guys have. So I'm always going to favor who I've seen in the high level situations against great competition when everything's on the line. And AllBall, I know you agree with me on that.
No, that's fair because Sabonis is not. I don't know where he's at on my list in top 30. He's disrespect. He's disgusting after that playoff performance.
Sabonis
because
chilling in the cut.
He ruined my Sacramento Kings prediction. Fuck Sabonis.
But that's the thing, right? We've seen Sabonis get schemed by a championship level like coaching staff and all this stuff. We've never seen Haliburton in that situation yet. Like we've seen Trae Young get clamped by the Heat. So I'm sorry, but I think with the Sabonis with Fabian, I think you're going a little too. Sabonis had a bad series. They still was Game 7, and it took Steph Curry to give them 50 to get. So he just had a bad series, man. He just missed a lot of shots.
The point is, to Dom's point is, we have to see the playoff pressure for him. I agree with him with Haliburton because Haliburton's my guy, and I'm saying that.
We're talking regular season though. We ain't talking to the playoffs yet.
Right. But
Yeah,
that's
well,
what
you're
Dom
right
is
then.
saying.
You're
Like,
right
by
then,
the end of the
AllBall.
season.
But I just think there are better teams in the East personally. What's
Hold
amazing?
Hold on. Name 7 teams better than the Pacers if Haliburton is this guy y'all talking about.
Oh, I mean, well, you've got the Boston Celtics, you've got the Bucks, you've got the
there
Sixers,
are not 7 teams that are better,
and you've got the who's the other team I'm forgetting? Bucks, Sixers. Oh yeah, I had the Cavs there. So Cavs,
Bucks,
Cavs
Knicks, Sixers, Celtics, Cavs.
Yes, they are.
Knicks are better, in my opinion.
Go ahead.
And
Some
then
people
we
may
have
say no.
Knicks are better. That. Miami is better.
Oh, Miami's the team I'm forgetting. And then I think the Hawks and the Magic are better too.
Okay.
And I think the Nets might be better.
Okay.
Then Indy, shit. I would have
the Magic are better than the Pacers
because they defend.
Yeah, and I'm always gonna pick a team that plays defense that isn't that great offensively.
I'm gonna take Orlando definitely.
And they just have more star power though. Like even though Paolo Banchero and Franz may not make it this year, they're gonna be stars within the next 3 years. Yes. I don't know if I can say that about anyone on the Pacers besides Haliburton, even though I like.
And that was my point, Dom, about the roster. I know Tu was trying to say that Indy has a fairly decent roster. I'm saying besides Haliburton, who on that team could remotely sniff an All-Star game? Who?
No one.
But this was a great point by
Miles. Miles. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Now I know it said that the Pacers scored 144 points against the Heat last game, and Haliburton didn't play. So that's to their. I don't know who played on the Miami Heat.
Well, I just checked. Bam. Well, let's just make a statement about the Heat. Bam Adebayo and Caleb Martin out, and you guys are getting scored on like that. Holy shit, man! Like, because they were starting Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry. Still, though, you're allowing 144 points without Haliburton as an NBA team that has championship aspirations. I think it's a little sus. I would be pissed if I was a Heat fan, but it shows you how much Bam Adebayo means. And he's having a great season too, by the way. I want to give a shout out.
Bam is playing very well.
And we know how Caleb Martin is for that team. He does all the little things. He guards the best players and stuff.
I definitely owe Bam an apology for sure.
Yeah,
he's playing well. But by the way, the Miami Heat load manage so much, and they never get called out for it. Ever. They rest their players so much. It's insane.
It goes extremely under the radar.
This is crazy.
You know why? Because in the playoffs they do these things. You know
what it is? I think. Look at the players that they're low managing. No disrespect, but if any of us take our kids, nobody's ranting and raving to go see the Miami Heat players.
I guess so, but they're losing games.
I was pissed off going to see Miami play Houston out here, and Jimmy didn't play. I was pissed off too.
That's crazy.
Let's be for real. If I go to a Knicks game, if we go to a damn Knicks game and the Miami Heat are there, and Jimmy Butler ain't playing or Bam ain't playing,
we'll be tight for sure. For sure.
Even this year with the kid, that rookie kid, if he ain't playing, I'm gonna be mad. He's amazing.
The game at home. There was a game that Jimmy didn't play. We played against the Heat. He didn't play. He hasn't played a few games this year.
Well, I will say this: he does rest and stuff, but right now he's hurt because he got hurt against the Knicks. Remember this game? He got hurt his ankle. So I don't want to make it seem any Heat fans listening that I'm calling him out for load managing in yesterday's game. I'm just saying the Heat in general load manage a ton, and no one says a word. Also, big shout out to UCLA legend who's shocking everybody right now, Jaime Jaquez, bro. He's hooping, and I'm so proud of him. So shout out to Jaime.
We could segue